so we can see everybody. Yeah.
Yay.
Okay.
So welcome everyone to this couple celebration. We decided to celebrate the Valentine's Day weekend with a celebration of the adventure of marriage, really, because it's been a long adventure for some of us. For some of us on the call, it's been just a year or two, and but whichever stage we're at, and we've got a representation of all of those stages on here tonight, and it's really quite a juggling act. One of our grown-up daughters said how amazed she was how we managed to keep life together as we were raising up our large family, and still having romantic times. So well done if you're here and you've gone and gagged the children or something, or done something to them.
Modern child is bribed.
So a warm welcome if you're on the live Facebook at the moment. I hope you're enjoying that. Obviously that will be available on just on our Facebook friends only, but we are recording this and it will be uploaded onto YouTube for you to watch there as well on the Welcome Network channel. So God bless you all. It's lovely to have you, and a special thanks to Lindsay and Stuart, because they acted as the catalyst for this event. Really, we had a conversation some time ago, and thought it would be nice maybe to have a kind of a romantic time like this, and so they've been a bit of an inspiration. So thank you, Lindsay and Stuart, for getting us going on doing this event this weekend. So we're going to talk for a few moments, and then we're going to get our first guest couple to talk about what the adventure of marriage looks like for them at their particular stage. So Mary, you want to say a few things about something, don't you?
Yeah, well, we called it the adventure of marriage, or the romantic adventure, because I always feel that in the process of being married, there's always more to get to know about your partner, and it's always surprising. You keep finding out new things about one another, and that's really exciting. And also learning about how to love them. And Bob has sometimes joked in the past that he's not married to the same woman that he married like 40 odd years ago. It's that much now, and it's because we change over the years, and there is an adventure in that discovery of one another, and in learning also how to love one another. So Bob was always like the spontaneous guy, full of ideas, loving maps, loving going places. So it started off like a big adventure right at the beginning for me, who wasn't quite so sort of adventurous. And we discovered many things that we enjoyed about one another, books and movies and walks in the countryside. More recently, we've over the last, well, quite a few years, we've been discovering we both love Jane Austen books and films, and then at the centre of it all, we fell in love with Jesus as well, and he's the centre of our marriage. And we both enjoy people as well, so loads of things that we have in common. But then you discover that when you're in this process of loving one another, that that the other person doesn't always feel loved when you've been really trying to love them. And it's because of this thing called, well, Gary Chapman came up with this thing called love languages. And you quite often try and love the other person in the way that you feel loved. So for example, it's no good me thinking that Bob's going to feel loved just because I'm washing his shirts and cooking his meals, when actually his love language is touch and words of affirmation.
I do like clean shirts as well.
Yeah. So in other words, it's as if you're not hitting, you're trying to love the other person, but you're doing all the things. Like for me, acts of service is something that makes me feel loved when people do things for me. But Bob's not the same, you see. So you have to learn the other person is very different, and then change the way, you know, have a go at really thinking, well, he needs a hug, he needs a, you know, a kiss in the morning and a cuddle and maybe more than that, and holding hands when we go on a walk and things like that. And you know, he has to learn that for me to feel loved, he may need to make me a cup of tea in the morning, help with the washing up, or, you know, all those things, which he does most of the time. And you know, so it's a bit of a journey, and an adventurous journey, where there's obviously a lot of forgiveness and a lot of needed at times as well. But tonight we're keeping it quite light. So if you want to know more about love languages, there's a wonderful book by Gary Chapman called 5 Love Languages. And there's also, I think we've put in, we'll put in the chat later, there's also a website you can go to where you can do a little test, doesn't take very long, and
for free.
And for free, and it'll tell you what your love language is. And if you both do it, then you can, you know, tell one another, and you can, instead of missing one another with their love languages, you connect, and that will be a great adventure.
Yeah, we will put that in the chat if you haven't I haven't seen it yet. It's 5lovelanguages.com, but the number 5lovelanguages.com will get you to that test. Well, one of the things we've done from time to time is gone on some marriage enrichment day or weekend, and one organisation we can recommend is called timeformarriage.org.uk, and that's FOR, timeformarriage.org.uk, and they came up with what I would call verbal love hearts. You know, in England we have a sweet, there's the advertising plug there, love hearts. And what's good about love hearts, if you can get them at this time, I'm sure they're nearly all sold out in the shops over the Valentine's weekend, is that each of the sweets has got on it a little sort of word or two. I don't know if that's visible at all. Anyway, you can't see it, so there'll be a word on there. This one says, "Oh, let's dance." The next one says, "Love you," and so on. So we've got some a little bit of an exercise here for you that you might want to mute yourself, or you've all been good and muted yourself already. Well done. So here's a love heart for us to practice. So we're going to model it for a moment, and you can just do a quick love heart on one another. So here's me, hubby, practicing, because it's always good to have some words to practice with. I'm glad I married you. So get ready, husbands or the partners or whatever. I'm glad I married you is your line.
You're the best friend I have.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yay. So while you're all muted, have a practice then on that little bit of a love heart that's like the sweets. Have a go now. I'm glad I married you for the husbands. You're the best friend I have for the wives. Yeah. Have a go just for a moment. If you can't feel the words, learn how to.
You're the most wonderful person.
No, you're supposed to say, I'm glad I married you.
I'm glad I married you.
And I've got to say, you're the best friend.
We need to mute, don't we, some of us?
Just mute, yeah.
Yay. So, how was that? That wasn't bad, was it? You can do these things. We can say I love you to one another. So we're going to move on now to our first guest couple, who are actually amazingly related to us. So we are introducing to you one of our sons, Matthew Bain, and his gorgeous wife, Shamila.
Hi guys.
Hello.
How long have you two been married?
It's been just over 18 months now.
Yeah.
Oh,
We got married in September 2019.
Yeah.
So.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Nice.
it's not been long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
Well, so we've given you the question, what
question.
does the adventure of marriage look like for you. And you just got a few minutes just to tell us a little bit then, you two. God bless you. Have a go.
Yeah, sure. So it's very early days for us in our marriage. I'm sure there's people here who've been married much longer. But us, I think one of the main things that we're excited about is kind of where God leads us in our marriage. So I think we both were quite excited. Before we were dating, we both felt quite excited about the plans that God kind of had for our lives. But then now that we're married, we've kind of got this excitement of the adventure of us being together as a couple and doing things together. And seeing how it all comes together as well, because we don't know yet exactly what it's going to look like. So it's very, I mean, it's early days. We're kind of in the last year as well, being in lockdown, we've spent a lot of time talking about the future, dreaming about stepping outside the house again, and like being able to do stuff. But yeah, I mean, we are definitely, I think, spending a lot of time dreaming at the moment about the future, and kind of talking about what it might look like.
I think as well, the adventure of our marriage at the moment looks like every day choosing to like have fun together, even despite the whole like national lockdown. It's like choosing things that are gonna make us laugh, and it's really fun getting to know each other more in this as well, and understanding more about each other. And I think every day I learn a little bit more about you, which is so awesome. And I think that's an adventure in itself. And we were saying recently, we feel like we're like every day we love each other a little bit more, and I think that's an adventure. So I think there's not much traveling, and there's not much physical adventures at the moment, and you all can relate to that, but there is an adventure with our kind of love life and our marriage as we go from kind of day to day, just learning and doing more things like in the flat. Like flat packing a box, for example. Like that's what Matt's task this evening was. And just like little things like that that you just have to kind of make fun tasks out of.
Very good.
I think we've definitely been like learning how to have fun with little things, because there's not too much to do, so you've got to make the most out of what you can do, and have a good laugh. So I think that's been really good. Like we do have great sort of deep and meaningfuls talking about future stuff, but then at the same time we have lots of fun times where we're not doing anything serious at all, and we're just kind of laughing at each other or with each other, and joking around and stuff. So
very good.
Have you learned like who does the practical stuff, or who or do you do different things?
I think we've learned a really good balance at the moment, but we know that like it's just a seasonal thing of where Matt's studying and working full time, and I'm building my business but also have a little bit more flexibility. I guess I tend to do a little bit more of like cooking us meals, and but I think equally we both kind of just understand each other quite well, and thankfully really love living together, because I think that could be a challenge if we both kind of had little nitty gritty things we got annoyed at with each other. But we genuinely don't, and I think that's just such a blessing.
Yeah, which is more like Shamila being patient with me. Definitely.
Learning patience, yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think we balance each other out very well, which is great, and we both recognise that. And yeah, we thank God for that, because I guess His love enables us to be patient when we need it, and yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for that.
That's really good. Yeah.
Really good. We really appreciate you
Helpful.
being first on. I understand you have got some other commitments this evening, so if you disappear off this event, we know that you haven't fallen out with us, and so you have a good evening, and I hope a romantic weekend as well.
Yeah. Have a great
Thanks for
week.
having us on.
Yeah, thanks for having us,
and
Dad.
thanks to everyone listening.
Well, God bless you.
Yeah.
So another love heart practice for a moment with another little moment for saying some nice things to one another. So here's the husband word here. You look gorgeous today.
I like that.
So get ready to practice that one. And love heart for Mary.
Okay. It's really nice waking up next to you each day.
Well, that was rather much longer than what I read down there.
Well, I had to make it my own.
It's nice to wake up next to you.
It's nice to wake up next to you. It's a short version.
So do you want to practice that for a moment, everyone? Have a little go with that. The husband one was, you look gorgeous today.
Yeah. And the wife was, it's nice to wake up next to you.
There you go. Have a go. Give you 30 seconds to be nice to one another. Very good. So we've now got an amazing couple who have been friends with us for many years, Gabriel and Alicia Oshinabi. I hope I've got that pronounced right. I used to say it in all sorts of strange and wonderful ways, and they were so polite and respectful, they never corrected me. So good evening to you two. Lovely to have you with us, Gabe and Alicia. So you've been married for how long now, you two?
Yeah, go on, Lou.
10.5 years. So we celebrated 10 years in lockdown.
Yeah.
And you're a family, you're parents, aren't you?
Yeah, we have 2 children, 7 and a 6-year-old, who hopefully you won't hear in the background, but they are around.
Okay.
Right.
Good.
So, yeah.
Well done. So Gabriel and Alicia, we've asked the same question of you. What does the adventure of marriage look like for you at this stage in your life?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different from Matthew's, because, you know, we've been married for 10.5 years. So I guess at this stage, I mean, before we had a lockdown, we wanted to probably have more date nights, more time to ourselves, because we live very busy lives, you know, with a family, with work and so forth. So we were conscious that, you know, this year we were going to just be more conscious of making time together. I mean, not necessarily, but just go out, you know, watch a movie. I mean, we do holidays and stuff like that, but I just feel like it's always with the kids, you know, as a family break and stuff. But I feel we needed more time together as husband and wife.
Yeah, we were making all these plans, and with family, like, okay, can we book you this month? And, you know, we committed to, was it once every 3 weeks we were going to do this, going out on dates, and you know, and another couple had given us an idea about alphabet dating. There's like a website or something, and it goes from A to Z, and each time you go on a date you do something different, because I think when we used to go out, it tended to be something to eat and a movie, and they were like, no, you know, you should try something different each time. So there's this idea out there called alphabet dating, and you literally, each time you go on a date, it's a different letter from the alphabet, and it had things like bungee jumping and all sorts. They had various for each letter you could pick. So we planned this, and that was about February, I think. Yeah, and then lockdown happened March, so we haven't been able to do any of that, but we still will, by God's grace, the other end.
Yeah, I feel for us at the stage of our marriage, I want us to be able to laugh more together and do things that we used to do, you know, before the kids came. I mean, we exercise, but we do it individually. I'm busy with work, and when I have my downtime, I'm probably watching something on my own, possibly, or just everything's always around the kids. And then, of course, you know, with church stuff as well. You know, I got some men's ministry stuff with it, so it's, you know, so it's we're just conscious that we need to, you know, do stuff together as husband and wife. Things that we used to, you know, we used to find fun with each other before the kids came and stuff. So I want to try to do as much as that's possible if we can.
Yeah, I think that's the hard bit. It's being parents, and our children are still young, and you're quite aware of the fact that they need you and the attention and, you know, homework and everything, day-to-day life. And then half the time you make plans and then we're both like zonked out.
Yeah, she gets tired a lot. She gets tired a lot. So
I'm just gone.
I just know she's tired. So,
so it's trying to find that happy balance of, you know, and I also work as does Gabriel. So it's working full on in the week, and then the kids, and obviously on weekends there's, you know, housework and all the other stuff that comes with it, and making sure that we prioritize ourselves, our marriage. So that's kind of, I guess, our adventures at the moment.
Yes.
Well, that's really good to hear the experience from the point of view of a couple that have got children, young children, and a full-on life. And I really respect you and for how you're holding it together, you two. You're still alive, still breathing. And that's that has to be a good thing. So well done.
I was just going to say, what is one thing that is keeping, even though it's hard and you're busy, what one thing is keeping you going, or more than one thing maybe, you know, that you do manage to do together?
I think right now we've had a lot of so our church is we've done a lot of Zoom stuff on church. So to be honest, I feel I'm more busy than I was when I was going to church, to be honest. But
oh no.
And here we are on Zoom. But yeah.
But one of the things we're doing, because we do a lot of Zoom stuff with it, we do a lot of family church thing together as a family, where we do worship and stuff, and the kids love that. We love doing that together.
Like even today while we're doing housework and stuff, we got music on and dancing.
You know, just
I say that's that's probably a big thing. And praying together, especially the start of the year, we did 21-day prayer and fasting, and spent a lot of time together in the words and praying and stuff like that. Definitely. I
wondered how you get so thin and beautiful, Alicia. Now I understand.
Well, worship. I know I love singing as well, and Bob does. So that's one thing that we also helps to keep the glue, keep us together. And
it's also how we kind of really got together when we were dating. It was music. That was our like big common interest. You remember we used to spend hours in the car just listening to music together. So
yeah. Well,
that's great.
That's super. Well, thank you
so much for sharing.
If you could put in the chat the information, if you can get it for the alphabet dating, that would be really good. So we're moving on very nicely. I hope you're not too annoyed with me for getting you to say all these cheesy love heart words to one another, because actually some of us do need to extend our vocabulary, and you know, if you find this difficult to do, then perhaps you need to practice, and that's always good. So you might want to find a mirror during the week and practice saying some nice things, not to yourself but to your wife. You can see behind us we have our teddy bears, Eric and the other one, Eric's wife. So you know, you can practice on a teddy bear if nothing else. So here's some others today that you can try. So are you ready for this? You make me feel good.
If I had to do it again, I'd still marry you.
That's really. So are we ready for this? I said you make me feel good. So that's the husband one, and
I said if I had to do it again, I'd still marry you.
Yeah. So with conviction, have a go. Practice that for a few seconds. Okay. So we're going to ask our good friends, Andrew and Michelle. So,
Yay.
good to see you too.
You
need to unmute there, Andrew and Michelle,
That's it.
otherwise we won't be hearing anything. Well done. And you've been married a little bit longer than a year or so. And
Yes, a little bit longer than that.
so we've asked you the same question, Andrew and Michelle. What does the adventure of marriage look like at this stage of life? So do tell us how long this stage of life.
Well, when you get to our age, you look back over the years. And the funny thing is, it was lovely hearing, have they gone? Matthew.
Yes. Yeah, Matt and Shamila.
Their testimony of early years of marriage. And it seems a long, long time ago for us, but we still kind of remember it. Yes. We met in 1969, didn't get on very well. We met at college, but then at the end of the year, it was a near thing. It was right at the very end of the year. We started going out together in 1970.
It was only because it was the end of term parties.
Yeah.
And he had a car.
Yeah, so we and
very important.
And then something happened. There was some chemistry.
Well, we decided that it was quite safe for us to go out because we'd done nothing but argue for a year.
Yeah,
we were always put together to work on the same project together.
Oh.
And I used to drive him up the wall. And we thought, well, it's perfectly safe. You know, this is just going to
nothing's going to happen.
Nothing's going to happen.
Little did you know.
It was a case of zap pow. You know, something happened, some chemistry.
Yeah.
And we were engaged by the end of 1970, so that's over 50 years ago now. And we were married a year later, 1971. So we've got our 50th coming up.
Whoa.
The thing is, and I'm sure you've probably all done this. And Matthew and
Shamila.
I probably thought, I wonder what it would be like when in 50 years time, you know, our marriage is all fresh and it's all exciting, we're learning about each other, but we still find that exciting when we're 50 years older, and but we still enjoy doing the things we enjoyed when we were young, you know. And well, I'll let you into a secret. Yes.
Yay! Hooray! That's good.
Yes. And you know, it just gets better and better, honestly.
It does.
You know, some of the things that we enjoy, we perhaps don't have quite as much energy as we used to have, but we still enjoy being together and intimacy and doing things together. But
as you get older, the kids leave home.
Yes.
Yay!
I promise you, they do more or less go away. They not completely. They never do.
Then they come back with grandchildren.
Yeah. Where do these come from?
We've been helping with some homeschooling, things like that, and I thought, no, that I did not imagine we'd be doing. But you know, it's still an adventure, and like any adventure, they have their ups and downs. The love languages thing is lovely. I mean, we used to do this with groups of couples a few years ago, sharing this sort of thing, and also looking at personality profiles. You know, there's various things out there. You can sort of look at a questionnaire that gives you an idea of what your different personalities are, and it's a really helpful way of learning about what makes each other tick. You know, how you're wired. Because otherwise we can be pressing the wrong buttons. You know, and so that's great. It's very practical. But
because we're very alike in many respects. When we were on the same course together when we were at college, and then, but our personalities are very different. Andrew's much more of a people person. He will work with people. He looks to find the common ground and encourage people along. My profile was high dominance off the scale and low compliance off the scale, and nothing in between. So
whoa,
that made life interesting.
It still makes life interesting now and again. Yes.
That's the adventure.
There's an adventure in your early years of discovering each other and what each other likes and so forth, which is marvelous fun. I think we've probably learned all there is to learn about each other, but we're still learning new things, and we enjoy doing things. We enjoy music. We love music, and folk music particularly, and going to folk festivals and things like that.
And we love art, which is not surprising. We met at art college.
Yeah, we love art. Our house is full of paintings like this one behind us.
Yeah.
of the hills up in
Lovely.
Northumberland. But yeah, ups and downs. There are challenges. I mean, particularly with this last year. No sooner had the first lockdown been announced, and we both became unwell. But Michelle particularly became quite unwell with COVID for about 5 weeks, and took another 2 or 3 months to get over it. And she couldn't do anything, and so I ended up. I mean, I've always done a bit of cooking, and we shared jobs around the house. But when I was busy working, tended to rely very much on Michelle running the home. And so I had to sort of set to and really get to grips with, and it's been great fun learning new recipes. We're both now, Michelle's always been avid for watching all these chef programs, but I enjoy them now as well. We're sitting there writing, oh, I'm going to make this, no, I'm making it tomorrow, this sort of thing. So that's been fun.
He even learned how to use the washing machine.
Yeah. I still haven't worked out how to use the dryer timer. That still defeats me, but
yeah. Very good.
Yeah, that sounds great.
But some of the things that really we felt were keys to our relationship, things about like trust and communication and intimacy, but also transparency, financial transparency, and that we've always been really transparent about what we earn and how we pool that, and how we plan what we're going to spend on. And our relationship transparency. We don't have secret friends. We don't keep secrets from each other unless it's birthday surprises.
Yeah.
Or Valentine's.
Yes.
And but to really to be an open book with each other, we feel that is so important to our relationship.
Our emails and our phones are open.
Yeah.
So that there's no, my phone goes and Andrew goes to get it. That's fine. I'm not worried about that, and vice versa. And
that's really really important. Yeah.
And one of the things that we realised as well, I mean, when we first got together, it was passion. I will be quite upfront about that. It was passion that goes together, and passion's kept us going. But there's got to be more than that as well, though.
Yeah.
And there's some wonderful statements that we've taken on board, that love is not a feeling, it's an act of your will.
Yeah.
A singer called Don Francisco, does anyone?
Yeah, I remember that one. Long time ago.
Love that song.
But it's still an amazing song. I was listening to it earlier on again, just to remind me. Love is not a feeling. It starts off with feelings, with a passion, but at some point you make a commitment and you start to act on that, and that becomes an act of will. So that when the pressures come, when things get tough, you don't just give up on that. You say, well, actually, we're in this together. We're going to work through this.
Yeah.
And
there's another one that I particularly feel it's important, and I always give this to any new young couple that is getting married, and that is that it's not love that's going to keep your marriage alive. It's commitment that's going to keep your love alive.
Yeah.
Sounds like hard work, but it's actually great fun.
Yeah. Because when you've bottomed that out, everything else becomes possible. And we've always had a vision for what home life would be like. Again, probably you've all done this. When you start out together, you think, well, what is our home going to be like? This is what we did in my family when I was growing up. This is what Michelle did in her family. But which bits of those are we going to put together?
And these are the bits that we're not going to do.
Right. Yes.
Believe it or not, there were a few things we decided we're not going to do. And so we had this idea early on, that our home would be a safe and welcoming place, not just for us, but a stronghold, a refuge, even a sanctuary for others to come into. And that's been such a blessing. There's a verse in the Bible that says to practice hospitality, and by doing that, some people have entertained angels without realizing it. And we've always believed that was an important principle, and it's been such a blessing over the years to have people living with us. But what do you do in a lockdown? We had house concerts last year in our home. Great fun. And not last year, the year before last, should I say. And we've not been able to have any for over a year, and we really missed that. So like Gabriel and Alicia, Zoom seems to have taken over, but we found ourselves taking out hospitality online and facilitating different groups, home groups, prayer groups, a folk session every other Monday night with friends.
I do craft sessions.
Michelle does craft sessions, and we've just loved doing that. We're hosting a pancake party on Tuesday and doing things with the family, and that's been a real blessing to us as people have responded to that. One of the things we felt that about our home, there's a phrase, drawing a bigger circle. It's us, our family, our friends, but you know, seeing that circle grow.
Yes,
a great blessing.
Yeah.
But the bottom line though is our marriage is sacrosanct.
Yeah.
We protect it. It's the foundation from which we operate.
We had one young woman came to stay with us with her child, and she wanted to be between us all the time. She wanted to be between us, and she wanted to be an adult as equal to us, but also as equal to us in our relationship. And that was a no-no. And it was a tough time. She didn't like that. She didn't like that we wouldn't let her come between us. And she didn't like that, you know, this was our home and she was welcome and she was part of our family, but she was not an equal partner. We were the only ones that we had the partnership.
Well, we had a responsibility to model that, and the blessing is she met a lovely guy. They got married, had kids, had a daughter.
No, they had a son. She had a daughter already.
Yeah, she had a daughter.
Well, amazing.
Our grandparents, and we're still in touch with them after 20.
And they say now that their most important thing is their relationship, and they wouldn't let anything come between them.
Oh, well done. You modelled that well, then.
Well, it's just been a blessing.
That's great.
We'd like to share a little the lyrics of a song that was written by the daughter of friends of ours, a lady called Jo Mango. She's a recording artist, lives in Glasgow, daughter of friends of ours, and it's called My Lung. It's a lovely little song. I'm not going to attempt to sing it though, because I haven't got a high enough voice.
My
lung.
My lung. I'll tell you now today I realized, when dawn breaks one final day in time, when you wipe the dust from your timeless eyes, then I will be there by your side. You are my lung, my heart, my soul. I'll breathe you in and laugh you out. You push the life right through me, make the praises burst out. Today our promises will make us free, making our little house a trinity of you and God and me. You and me. And as you probably guessed, fairly early on in our relationship, we embraced a third person in the trinity of our marriage, and that was God. And he gave us a vision for growing together in him, not on separate paths, but on a shared path, which has brought us closer over the years. And it's been a wonderful journey for us.
And for us, we found the closer we individually drew to God, the closer that brought us together, because it was like that, with God there. And as we moved up that line, we actually physically, I haven't got enough hands to do this, physically got closer together like that.
Yeah.
Have we got time to tell one very short, funny story? Because
I'll let you, Andrew. I've got you on a timer anyway, but go on, carry on.
20 odd years ago, I mean, more than that actually, probably more than 20 years ago, there was a friend of ours called Margaret, and she was a spinster, and she still is actually, bless her. But she really wanted to find a husband. And well, you can tell it, but she came to you and asked you a question.
Yes, she was desperate not to be alone. I don't think, in retrospect, it was really that she wanted a husband. She just didn't want to be alone. And so ourselves and another couple, she asked us, you know, what should she do? And she kept finding all sorts of people. And there were some lovely guys, but they were never right. Nothing was ever right. And she came to Nikki and I one day and said, what I really want is somebody like Andrew or Adrian. Well, we just looked at her in sort of somewhat surprised and said, well, you won't get one ready-made. Think about all these people as the raw materials, and then that's what happens after you get married.
You work on each other.
You work on each other for quite a few years, and don't forget, you're going to change too.
Yeah, that change goes on. Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for that. We really appreciate your sharing.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was great.
God bless
really
you.
Good.
So we have a little time now of about 5 minutes or so, in which we're going to ask you as couples on this call, and if you're on the Facebook Live or seeing this as a recording, suggest you in a moment stop and pause and spend 5 minutes or so on this question. It's a nice, safe question. Don't panic. What do you remember most about your first date? What do you remember most about your first date? Now you might have to tweak that if your way of arriving and meeting one another wasn't quite like that.
Yeah.
But that's what we'd like you to do. On mute, have a chat with one another. What do you remember most about your first date? And we're only giving you 6 minutes in total. So I'm going to pause the recording now, and Facebook Live people, you'll have to twiddle your thumbs for 6 minutes, because we're going to give people some time to think about this, but you might want to use that time yourself. What do you remember most about your first date? So
hope you enjoyed that.
So you've had...
Yeah. Sorry, we're having too much fun.
Well, there's a lovely scripture in the Bible, in Ecclesiastes, that says 2 are better than 1. If they fall, one will lift up his companion. And then it goes on further down to say, if 2 lie down together, they will keep warm, which is a very good thing at this time of year. So I just wanted to encourage you with that it's definitely a wonderful celebration that when 2 people come together and become one in marriage.
So you may have had a really great first date, or it may have been a complete disaster, and I'm sure it's been good fun. Now, I don't know what's going on in terms of volume. I hope you can still hear us. We'll speak up a bit if there's a problem on the volume. But yeah, we have so enjoyed being together tonight with you all, and thank you for every one of you that has decided to spend some of your romantic evening sharing like this, and especially for those who have been our guest couples, for Matt and Shamila, for Gabriel and Alicia, for Andrew and Michelle, and also a special thanks to the Lindsay and Stuart for giving us the inspiration to put this together this evening. And so have a really romantic rest of your day and rest of the weekend. And maybe just to finish, there's a little bit of a practice homework question. We did put up in the chat those suggestions, and I noticed that Gabriel and Alicia have also put up in the chat about the alphabet dating.
So there are some links in the chat, and one of them has got a lot, well, there's one that has a lot of questions, helpful kind of conversation starters. That's the one on the read, cook, devour one. That's someone who puts up recipes, but she also puts up family advice, and she's got a section on marriage, and she has 20 conversation starters that are very good. If you don't know what to talk about, if you're so busy or tired, it gives you a starter. This can be quite helpful.
So a final love heart, if we can find one for you here. And here's my love heart question for you. What can I do to help?
I'll give you the list later. And here's mine. I trust you.
Wow. So you have a little bit of a practice there. If you just want to spend a moment with that one. What can I do to help? And
I trust you.
so have a go at that one. Very good. So we're finishing now, and there's a homework here for you to perhaps think about as well, and that is what things.
No, we'll just wait a minute.
Oh, they're still doing things. What things?
They're still having fun.
What things do we most appreciate about each other? So there's a homework question for you to do sometime this weekend if you want to. What things do we most appreciate about each other?
She says she's going to give me a list in a minute. You've set me up on this one.
always the opportunist there, Lindsay. Well done.
Yeah.
Now, if you, we obviously it's been so nice to have you together this evening. So try to be specific on that homework question. You know, don't just get away with some slop. What things do we most appreciate about each other? Then you know that would be great to think through in a specific way. Yeah. But God bless you. Have a great rest of the weekend. Yeah. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
Andrew.
Can we just say thank you to you, Bob and Mary, for leading this and for your enthusiasm and the love that you spread around, because you're a great encouragement.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Thanks so much. We've enjoyed this evening very much.
Yeah, it's been.
Thank you, Bob and Mary, so much. Thank you.
Thank you,
for organizing this. I have been missing, you know, these Zoom gatherings. Really,
yeah.
It was so wonderful to be together this 1 hour and to see and hear our good friends Andrew and Michelle, and thank you so much, and all the couples here. Thanks a lot.
Well, we appreciate it because Estonia is about 2 hours later than us, isn't it? So at the moment it's getting on, and thank you.
It's almost 10 o'clock at night, so
yes, time to bed gets a new connotation, doesn't it, in a romantic thing. Laura and Andrew as well, thank you for joining us from Portugal. We appreciate you coming on.
Bless you.
And everyone else on this call, Sayuri and Michael, Stephen.
Thank you so much. It was very different.
Yes, thank you very much. It's been great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding us, helping us to remind ourselves why we love each other.
So thank you so much for joining us. We're going to end the meeting now.
God bless you.
God bless you.
God bless.